My name is Jarrod McPhee and I'm the Mathematics Curriculum Leader here at Marrickville. I'm just going to go through some of the subjects that we have on offer here at Marrickville. So first of all, we have our Year 7 subjects. Every single kid does the Year 7 Mathematics A and B, and same with the Year 8 Mathematics A and B. That just follows the standard Australian curriculum where it has number, measurement, algebra, geometry, probability and statistics. It's not until we get to Year 9, 10, 11 and 12 that we start to branch out and do different things. Our mathematics focus around different pathways. And so the different pathways are up here in blue. In dark blue, we have our pathways that kind of lead to more of our engineering, your medicine, your veterinary sciences, also your hard financial mathematics courses, so the ones that use like derivatives and real high-end finance, kind of go down this pathway here. So if you're considering those engineering pathways or those hard science pathways or medicine, definitely start to consider this when you get into go from Year 8 into Year 9. One thing that we always try to say in the mathematics faculty, it's probably better if you're undecided of whether to do advanced or general, go with advanced first, and that way test it out, and then if it's not for you, then go down into general, okay? Because it's easier to go this direction rather than back up that direction. Not that it's impossible, we do have kids that go the other direction, but it is preferable if you go in there from the start. Now, in these options here, we have different types of subjects. We have the Advanced Mathematics and the Advanced Mathematics Coding Focus. Both of those follow the Australian curriculum, but this one here has a focus where they do it and build it through code. And so if you're into and wanting to challenge yourself in the mathematics in the Australian curriculum, and you also like doing some coding and you like technology, definitely give that a go because it really can extend the way you think. And if you're doing engineering into the future, you're probably going to have to do some coding at some point, and that really gives you a good setup and basis for that. Both then go into Year 10 math method. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, both will follow into that direction. Now, if you do choose that subject, it is a full-year subject. You can't switch out of it, and that's because we do the topics in a different order. So if you do it in, for example, in Advanced Mathematics A, you might do some certain topics, and then if you try and transfer in there, you've already done them, and then you're redoing them in B. So it has to be a full-year subject. Now, if we follow into Mathematics A and B, that just continues following in that directions. Now, the last one here is with Stage 2, which is Specialist Mathematics and Mathematical Methods. Now, these subjects are paired together. You have to do both. If you do Specialist Mathematics, you have to do Mathematical Methods. However, if you do Mathematical Methods, you do not have to do Specialist. That Specialist Mathematics really does flow into that engineering pathway for certainty, while methods tends to flow more into that veterinary sciences, medicines and stuff like that. Up here we have also some recommended subjects, so a journey into higher mathematics, that's like a subject that is useful for if you're going into specialist mathematics, but it's not required. So the arrow is saying it's required that you do this to do that one, while if it's got the shaded box, it's a recommended pathway, it's not required. Now in here, in the light blue, we have our general mathematics sections, okay? So these ones have less of an algebra focus. They still follow the Australian curriculum, but it takes out some of that real deeper algebraic thinking that you might experience in Mathematics A and B. They mostly do all the same topics as what you would do in methods. It's just, taking out a lot of that algebra. And these pathways kind of focus into your business and commerce finance, as well as your softer sciences such as psychology, biology, and then also into just personal kind of finances as well. We find that general mathematics is a very popular subject at Year 12 across the state, very, very useful. They tend to have a little bit more of a context than methods. So what I mean by that is the questions are all set in kind of a real life application, where methods tends to be a little bit more abstract and focusing on those skills which are a bit more algebraic and abstract. Now, when we get into Year 11, so general can go this direction, and from Year 10 into Year 11, it can either go into general or into essential, okay? Now, general, as I said, that follows into more of those softer sciences, as well as some business and commerce, while essential is more focused on your trade, your personal finances, and then also other things such as like small business. Okay, so you're doing your personal small business taxes and stuff like that. In Year 11, if you choose A, B and C, or methods, you have to do A, B and C. Why in general A, means you do semester 1, okay, and then in General B, you don't have to do semester 2 if you don't choose to, but to do Year 12, you have to have done General Mathematics B in semester 2, or methods A, B, and C, because you can still go in that direction. And that's the same with Essentials. To do Essentials at Year 12, you have to have done a second semester subject in Stage 1. Okay, now I'll talk about Everyday Mathematics. Now, Everyday Mathematics is an invitational only subject. Now, this subject focuses on more workplace and everyday life mathematics skills. It's usually targeted towards students that might, be struggling a little bit with some of the rigor that comes from doing lots in algebra in general in advance, and focuses on just the things that are really, really needed for a student or a person to be successful with mathematics outside of school. And so it doesn't necessarily mean it's all easier mathematics. That's a bit of a misconception. It focuses on just, doing the measurement topics, doing your statistics topics. So they do a lot of the topics that they still do in general, but we take out some of the stuff that they may not need going into the future. So if it can be useful if they're doing a trade and stuff like that, we can get them doing more specific class, and because they're smaller classes, we can get it a bit more tailored and get them more focused onto things that might be more relevant to their lives. But that is an invitational only subject. Now, and that flows into Year 9 into Year 10. If you do this at Year 10, it doesn't go forth into Stage 1 and Stage 2. That pathway is cut off. However, what it does do, it does give you a SACE numeracy equivalent. So to get your SACE, you have to pass one semester of maths, either at Stage 1 or Stage 2. However, we have designed it so that if you do this course here into the second semester, if you're successful, you'll get your Stage 1 numeracy credits. Now, lastly, we're going to talk about some of our elective subjects. So we have 4 elective subjects that we do at Year 9 and Year 10, which students can pick on top of their regular mathematics. So for instance, if you do Advanced Mathematics A and B, you can then also do Mathematics in Action, okay? Or you could do Money Matters Financial Literacy. And so you can pick up to 3 mathematics subjects. You have to pick one of Advanced Mathematics A and B, Coding Focus, General, or Everyday, and then you get a choice of whether you pick those. So we're going to talk about Mathematics in Action, one of our electives. So this is more focused around extending students who want to know how to problem solve at a deeper level. And these can be abstract problems to problems which are more in a real life situation. So for instance, a real life situation could be modelling traffic light systems and how long you should let green lights go for and how long you should let people turn right and that stuff, and based around safety. So not just looking at what's the most efficient way, but also safety and that kind of thing. So modelling in the real world. Another task could be modelling how to maximise profit at an event and some of the assumptions and limitations you need to do to maximise your profit. How much is the right amount of sausages to buy? How much you're going to sell them for? So not just looking at the maths, but also looking at how human beings work as well, because modelling is an important part of mathematics. So that is the focus there. Otherwise, we have Money Matters as well, which is financial literacy. This course is a very popular course at Year 9 and it focuses specifically on financial matters. So some of those matters might include what's an interest rate, how to open a bank account, what taxation is, how taxation works, how you can get tax back, how you can budget for a phone, how you can budget for the future in a car, what Afterpay is, how it works, what credit cards are, what they do. So it's not heaps mathematical in the sense you're not sitting there doing heaps of equations and sums. It's more looking into some of the literacy and jargon that finance use, and also some of the tricks businesses play on you to try and get your business and things that you need to look out for. So if you're wanting to be a young adult that is financial literate going into the real world, this is the subject for you. So that is Money Matters Financial Literacy. Now, we also have another option in Year 10 called Money Matters Investing in Futures. So why Money Matters is more about saving your money and how you can save it and maximise how much money you keep. Money Matters is you've saved that money, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make your money grow? So we're looking more so into shares, investments, ETFs. So we run crash courses into some of these financial markets. It's also a little bit tailored. So if kids are into the classes into a particular field, we can go into a bit more depth. We can look into superannuation. We can look at different ways you can invest, because there's multiple different ways you can put where you can put your money, and looking at the risks okay, of putting it in certain, criteria and stuff like that. So it's also a very popular course and definitely worthwhile picking if you're wanting to know more about money and what you can do with it and how you can make more. Again, it's not a heaps mathy subject. You're not doing lots and lots of sums. It's more so about that financial literacy. So it does require a bit of rigor, still does reading and still does that, but it's not sitting there doing, traditional mathematics, in a pen and book all the time. Now, lastly, with these two subjects, okay, we also do a bit of course counselling. So we sometimes get guest speakers to come in and speak to the students about different financial courses that they could do into the future. That includes accounting, whether it includes investing firms and stuff like that. So there's lots and lots of different businesses and courses at your university that involve finance, and so some of the industries that you can go into there. Okay, the last elective that we're going to talk about is Journey into Higher Mathematics, which is a subject we talked about earlier. This is essentially a course that is useful for specialist mathematics but not required. Okay, so it's recommended. This subject explores some topics into a little bit more depth without it being as rushed that it can sometimes be with the rigors of methods A and B. So it's still a very high-end subject. You do some deep mathematical thinking, and it does allow you to get an early taste of some of the topics that you'll do at specialist mathematics. So if you're considering a specialist mathematics pathway and you're looking at doing engineering into the future, that is definitely a subject or you just enjoy mathematics, that's a subject for you. I think that's all the subject that I have to present today. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, DayMat message me, or come see me in my office in A5 and we can have a chat and discussion about pathways, what subjects you recommend, or just different ideas, or if you just want other mathematical problems to solve. Thank you.